What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, we are going to be talking about the hidden gem of San Antonio, Vernia. If you're looking for a place with space and a place that's very, very quiet, you're gonna love this one. Let's go.
Guys, so if you have not heard of Vernia, it honestly wouldn't strike me as a surprise. Vernia kind of flies under the radar for a lot of people, especially if you're not from San Antonio or even Texas in general. Vernia is a small town that's just east of San Antonio. It's probably going to be about 30-ish minutes from downtown, depending on traffic. You're probably going to be about 30-ish minutes also from the airport. And what is your nearest military base going to be, Johnny?
So your nearest military base is going to be Randolph Air Force Base off of 1604, and that's still going to be about 20 to 25 minutes away.
30 minutes from everything, huh?
Pretty much. I mean, even if you're trying to get to the complete opposite side of San Antonio, it would take you about an hour. You feel the difference between being out here and say being like in Boerne. You feel the difference.
100%. Yeah, it's a different culture, different environment, and I think there's different things to do. The same land out here, if you were to buy it in Boerne, would probably cost 2 to 3 times the price. That's what I will say.
There aren't going to be major highways that come through Vernia, so you're not going to get that, that hustle and bustle and people kind of settling in Vernia.
Which, if you want that peace and quiet, you're looking to get away from it all, again, might be a really good solution.
We do get a lot of calls from people who are looking for acreage. They're looking for the quiet life. Maybe you're wanting to do a little bit of homesteading with your family. Maybe you just want to be near a big city, but you want to be able to kind of get away, and you don't want to live in an area that's going to be growing too fast too soon. So Vernia would be perfect for you. Now, when we say small town, we really mean it. The population is only, in 2022, the population was only right at 1,400 people. So Vernia is a small town.
In fact, this coffee shop that we're sitting at has probably seen more people than that live in that entire town, which is a crazy concept.
Now, we were in Vernia just a little while ago, and we did drive through a beautiful neighborhood where the lots were not necessarily an acre, but they were pretty large. Let's take a look at that right now. So this particular neighborhood that we're driving through right now is called Woodbridge Farms, and I love how these homes are built with this farm style look. It's got the brick and the siding. I love it, man. Just great architecture here.
If I would see these homes in the city, I would think that they were probably custom.
Yeah.
And it seems like there are some elements of it that are custom, because I've noticed as we drive through here, there are some homes that have fences, some that don't, some have like a disconnected garage, some that have 3-car garages, some that are painted black. So there seems to be a level of customization here that a lot of the times you can't get. And one thing I do want to point out is that there's even homes in this neighborhood that have RV garages built into the house, and that's something that you don't see unless you're usually getting a custom home.
Exactly, and the sizes of these homes vary as well. Some of these homes are pushing 4,000 square feet. And then you have some others that look like they're going to be more in that 2,600 square foot range. So it looks like there's quite a bit to choose from as far as the size of home that you want to build in here. But there's a lot of seclusion. It feels very, very private. Although these houses don't seem to be on an acre each, they still are spaced out pretty well from the neighbors. Looking at one of these houses there, this one, you see it has that giant shed in the backyard.
Yeah, so we also just passed another one that had a 3-car regular garage, and then it had a 2-car RV style garage.
Wonderful.
That I would kill for that space.
Man, yeah, this is really nice. And I know that we talked about Vernia being extremely flat. This neighborhood has quite a bit of hills in it.
I don't think it's as flat as we're leading on to be.
Maybe not.
We may have been wrong in that, but we'll see as we kind of look through this a little bit more.
Really nice.
So one thing about this neighborhood that stood out to me is that while all the homes seemed like they were built by the same builder, and it looks like they were very similar styles, they all had different elements of it that made them all appear super customizable. I mean, you guys saw in the video, there's a house that we saw that had 2 giant RV garages while also having a 3-car garage, I guess perpendicular to it, on the house. Like, that's custom home level stuff.
Yeah, it is. And we also saw a home that had an ADU in the back as well. And we get a lot of calls from people who are moving out here from the West Coast who ask us about, hey, can we build an ADU on our land? Well, in the city, you would have to get a permit to build an ADU, but typically when you're living in a residential neighborhood like the one that we just saw, usually HOA is not going to allow you to build an ADU on that property. However, out there in Lavernia, that was a residential neighborhood with an HOA that does allow ADUs. So if that's something that you're looking for, that might work for you. All right, like Trevor mentioned, we did drive through a second neighborhood, which was quite different from the first neighborhood. This neighborhood was on 1 acre lots completely. Let's take a look at that neighborhood real quick.
Man, so this neighborhood, it's funny because this feels very similar to the other one we went through, but it also feels very different. Like, so one thing I noticed off the bat is the lot size of this one is significantly larger than the other one, yeah?
Yeah, well, I think every house in this neighborhood is on an acre. The name of this neighborhood is, what's the name of this one?
This one is called the Settlement.
And the Settlement, right.
Yeah.
And every home is on an acre plus in this neighborhood.
Yeah, fun fact about that actually is that any home not within the incorporated area, the incorporated city limit of Lavernia, is required to be put on at least an acre of space, which is why all of these homes look like they are so spread out. And I think that really goes a long way, man, because all of these homes look like they're far apart. Everyone's got a little bit of breathing room, and I think that, like, I know for myself anyway, I would absolutely appreciate just a little bit of breathing room, man. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that, you know, and we learned this from another resident who lives in Lavernia, that's the county rule, that if you're not in the incorporated city, to build at least an acre. So I really like that. That's the first time I've ever heard of a rule like that before. But I mean, if you're looking to live, you know, in a community like this, it's nice to know that there aren't going to be neighborhoods that you're touching elbow to elbow. Like the last neighborhood that we were in, those were clearly a little bit closer than, you know, an acre.
Not to say that they didn't have big lots.
They did have some big lots. We did see some oversized lots over there. But, you know, we did drive down a street where the homes were like tract homes right next to each other. You know, where in a neighborhood like this, you're not going to get that.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
Okay, so it is a small town. We established that. What does that mean for you and your family if you have kids that are going to school in Lavernia?
Now, this is obviously only going to apply to you if you're going to public school, but you're going to be serviced by Vernia ISD, which actually ranked higher than I anticipated because, you know, it is such a small area. Vernia ISD actually ranked pretty high. It's actually, I think, in the low 300s out of the 1,050 something school districts that we have in all of Texas. So overall, not too bad. Niche.com rated it a B plus.
Was it a B plus or B minus?
Hold on.
We're gonna put that on the screen right now
we'll
because
put that on the screen.
It was a B plus or a B. We're so unprofessional.
I know.
Let's do that part
Hold
over.
on a minute. Okay. I was right. It was a B plus.
Nice.
Which is pretty good, right? So it's really cool. I'm going to read this so I don't screw this up anymore, right? A minus in academics, A minus in teachers, pretty good. B minus diversity, B in college prep, C in administration, and C in club and activities. And that actually doesn't surprise me because whenever we were down here looking around in Lavernia, it's a very small town. And when it comes to recreation and other activities, not a whole lot out there.
Not a whole lot out there. However, it is a very community-oriented city. Now, when we're talking about high school football in Texas, Lavernia is going to be one of those Friday night lights type of cities from what we hear. When the high school has football games, you see a lot of people going out there to support that local high school playing football. And it's also like that when it comes to festivals and things like that they put on in the city. You'll see the community really come out in support of those type of things. Speaking
of high school football, I do want to touch back on the school districts for one more thing that I forgot to mention. Extremely cool fact. Lavernia ISD is only a 4-day-a-week school week, right? So that means your kids are going to be off 3 days a week. And I think that is huge. Do you know of any other districts that do that?
It's either really good or it's really bad, and we just lost a lot of viewers because they're like, I want my kids in school for 5 days a week.
I see them too much on the weekend, man. Get them kids out of my house.
Yeah,
man.
yep.
All right, so while we're on the topic of neighborhoods, right? I know we just got done talking about
schools.
Yeah, schools. Yep. We also talked about that other neighborhood. We know that there's some options out there. I know we had another chance to visit another neighborhood that wasn't too far, but it was also very different. So what do you think about the types of homes and maybe like home prices and availability that we saw today out in Lavernia?
So Lavernia is going to be a mix of different types of homes for people. I mean, you're looking at everything from manufactured homes on a couple acres from in the low 200,000s to, you know, homes in residential communities for $500,000 and everything in between. I mean, we've seen homes on lots of acreage, very spread out from one another.
Beautiful.
I mean, it really is living out in the country. And I think that there's something pretty much for everybody. If you're looking for a home on land where you can build a shop, there's that. If you're looking for a home that's in a community, like your typical residential subdivision, there's that as well. You're gonna find pricing anywhere again from the low 200,000s up to $400,000 or $500,000 homes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had a lot of really, really good things to say about Lavernia, right? You have the space, the distance, the breathing room, right? And things that are just a little bit calmer and slower, but this does come with some downsides, right? So when it comes to who Lavernia might not necessarily be for, this part is for you. One thing about Lavernia is that, we mentioned this earlier, there's not much to do in there, right? You're not going to find any malls, you're not going to find many movie theaters, Top Golf.
Yeah, and I think most people who are looking for a quieter life or living out in the country, that's something that they're probably expecting anyway. Again, you're only 25-30 minutes from downtown San Antonio. You're maybe 25 minutes from the Forum Shopping Center there off 1604 and I-35. But living in Lavernia, you are going to have access to all the things that you need for your everyday life. There is H-E-B grocery store, there's dental offices, medical offices, law offices. You know, there's all those things that are going to be there in Lavernia. But if you're looking for recreation and things to do with your family, with your kids, going to the zoo and museums and all these sort of things, you're not going to get that in a small town like Lavernia.
No, just like you said, you kind of have to be expecting that. So it's not a crazy drive, right? You're going to have to drive 30 to 45 minutes to get to wherever you need to be within San Antonio, depending on traffic. So you can still access it, but if you're one of those people who likes to walk out, drive 5 minutes and go to the movie theater or the mall, it's probably not going to be for you.
If you've been doing any kind of research on San Antonio, which I'm sure you have, you've heard a ton about the growth of San Antonio and the surrounding area. Again, Lavernia is not going to be like Seguin, where there's a lot of industry there that's driving growth. Lavernia is going to be one of those towns that's going to be a lot more resistant to change. I believe that Lavernia is going to be more up your alley if you're wanting to move to an area that's going to stay kind of how it is, you know, into the future.
Yeah, and I don't know how long that lasts, right? I mean, people have to adapt to the times, so that we can't sit here and promise that Lavernia is going to stay
small forever, of course.
Exactly.
But there's no indication right now that it's experiencing any kind of a large boom that we're seeing in the other areas around San Antonio. All right, guys, if you're wondering what the property tax rate is in Lavernia, it is approximately 2.21%, which is going to be on par with what you're seeing surrounding areas. We're seeing anything from, you know, 2.18 up to 2.69, like Leon Valley, if you're moving out there. So 2.21 is not too bad. It's going to be about average. Guys, we hope that you liked the video. We do post every single week, so please hit the like and subscribe button. You don't want to miss them.
Hey, if there's another area of town, a neighborhood, or a city that you want us to check out, drop it in the comments below, and we'd love the opportunity to do that. But guys, so far, thank you so much for watching our stuff. We love the support. If you plan on moving to San Antonio in the next few weeks, next few months, don't hesitate to reach out, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'd love to help you and your family make that smooth move to San Antonio. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.